There's a lot of pressuring, there's a lot of positioning right now. Even the U.S. senators have come out over the weekend to tell President Trump, if you invade Greenland with military force, you will be impeached. So he is feeling the pressure from everybody right now. And
That's interesting. Sorry, Angie, I'm just because one of our guests is agreeing with that. And Lord Glassman.
Before this interview even gets going, you can already tell it's heading for a collision. A MAGA commentator comes in ready to defend Donald Trump with some very bold claims, expecting to steer the conversation in a familiar direction. But what she doesn't seem to expect is that she's about to face a journalist who isn't interested in letting those claims go unchallenged. Before we dive into the full story, comment where you're watching from, and don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. What follows is a tense exchange as veteran British journalist Victoria Derbyshire calmly pushes back, asking the questions many viewers are probably thinking themselves. Instead of accepting broad political talking points, she demands facts, context, and clear answers. And that's where the interview takes a dramatic turn. The more the conversation unfolds, the more difficult it becomes to defend those sweeping claims without evidence. So stick around, because this debate only gets more intense from here. Once you've seen the full exchange, I'll break down the biggest moments, explain why this interview has sparked so much discussion, and give you my take on who really came out on top.
Okay, let's bring in Republican strategist Angie Wong. I mean, can you help us? What do you think President Trump's next move is?
Well, I don't believe that President Trump is an imperialist. I think he definitely wants to make a deal here. And as your speakers have said, he is the art of the deal president, and he has long been known to throw out the most extreme, most outrageous deals just to see what everyone's reactions will be and who's going to be pushing back. And in this case, he's seen almost everyone in the EU push back on this.
And forgive me, Angie Wong, he may also have seen President Putin be absolutely delighted about what's going on, because it potentially is a split between the US and its allies in NATO and in Europe. The only person happy at the moment is Vladimir Putin.
Well, he could be seeing it that way, or he could be seeing it as Putin getting isolated. Remember all the other geopolitical movements that have been made in the last few weeks. We have secured Venezuela. We're going after Cuba now.
You haven't secured Venezuela. I'm sorry, you have not secured Venezuela. It's the same regime. It's just a different person in charge.
And the Trump administration is all over the former vice president, now interim president there. So there's been a lot of movement. It could very well be, at the end of the day, when the historians write this book, that we are actually trying to isolate Putin and cut off any sort of money pipelines, any sort of trade pipelines. Remember, all of this deal, yes, we're talking about rare earth minerals, we're talking about national security for the U.S., but we're also talking about the Polar Silk Road. If the U.S. can control that shipping lane, along with the Panama Canal, we essentially then can control the Western Hemisphere as far as trade and shipping goes.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. I just wanted to ask you, why do you think President Trump wants to own Greenland when you know you've got this treaty, the 1951 Defence Treaty between Greenland/Denmark and the US? It allows you to deploy thousands more US troops there, to build more bases. During the Cold War, there were something like 15,000 US troops there. There's now about 200. Why do you have to actually own it? Why can't you work with them to send a load more US troops?
Well, the messaging here is that President Trump wants to build the Golden Dome, which is a $175 billion project, very similar to what Israel has. And he needs Greenland and the seas around it to do so. Now, it's not impossible. It's never been heard of before that we do annex and purchase lands. We did that with Alaska. We did that with the Louisiana Purchase, the Mexican secession, and other places. So this is part of that. But we're not going in with troops. That's a very far-fetched idea that we would go in with military force. I think President Trump really does want to make a deal.
Just one more thought. Donald Trump said in that exchange with Norway's Prime Minister he wants complete and total control of Greenland. If he can threaten a NATO ally to surrender territory, and other allies that if they don't come to a deal, tariffs will be imposed upon them, does that mean NATO is effectively dead?
I don't think I think there's a lot of pressuring, there's a lot of positioning right now. Even the U.S. senators have come out over the weekend to tell President Trump, if you invade Greenland with military force, you will be impeached. So he is feeling the pressure from everybody right now. And
That's interesting. Sorry, Angie, I'm just because one of our guests is agreeing with that. And Lord Glassman.
This is exactly why interviews like this matter. Time and time again, you see political commentators walk onto television with huge, attention-grabbing claims, expecting them to go completely unchallenged. But when those claims are tested with direct questions and real scrutiny, the conversation often looks very different. In this case, the suggestion that the United States had somehow secured Venezuela simply didn't hold up under closer examination. As Victoria Derbyshire pointed out, making a bold declaration doesn't automatically make it reality. That's what good journalism is supposed to do. It's supposed to ask follow-up questions, challenge sweeping statements, and give viewers the information they need to make up their own minds. Whether you agree with Donald Trump or not, political figures and their supporters should be prepared to defend their arguments with facts instead of slogans. And that's exactly what made this exchange so interesting to watch. Rather than letting the discussion drift into political messaging, Victoria Derbyshire kept bringing it back to the details, and that's where the interview became much more revealing. Moments like this remind us that democracy works best when every side is questioned, every claim is examined, and no one gets a free pass simply because they're confident behind a microphone. Now I want to hear from you. Who do you think made the stronger case in this debate? Did Victoria Derbyshire ask the right questions, or do you think the MAGA strategist made valid points that deserved more consideration? Share your thoughts down in the comments below. And if you enjoy thoughtful political commentary, fair analysis, and breakdowns of the biggest political moments making headlines, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.